Number 1, the use of aprons. How does an apron have to do with us as Christian women? Number 1, wiping things, having a clean life. 2, protection. What do we have in place to protect us as a Christian, or an analogy of God's protection? Number 3, prepares us for work. Are we prepared to share God's word and God's love? Now that is my 3-point sermon. Pockets hold some lovely things. And what things do we hold on to? Who do you think might have been the first person to wear an apron? And don't all of you answer the same. Spell it out. What do you think? Who could be the very first person who wore an apron?
Eve out of leaves.
I'm talking about a biblical person. Yes. You're right. She did. She wore fig leaves to cover herself. In fact, I knew a lady in Minneapolis. She made a fig leaf apron. And what do you think she might have used for pockets? Apples. Aprons sometimes collect food stains, but they also collect history. And what is an apron? The word apron comes from a French word, naperon, meaning a small tablecloth. An apron is an article of clothing usually worn on the front of the body and tied around the waist with strings. It is used to protect clothing, to cover the body, or to adorn a costume. An apron can be made of cloth, plastic, leather, and other materials. Half aprons, which some of you are wearing today, tie around the waist with a skirt that hangs in front of the body. Now, not everyone wore a skirt today, I don't think, but that's okay. That's what they did in the olden days. Full aprons have a skirt and a top, and the section is called a bib. An apron often is handmade, but can also be purchased ready-made.
Grandma's apron. The principal use of Grandma's apron was to protect the dress underneath, but along with that it served as a holder for removing hot pans from the oven. It was wonderful for drying children's tears, and on occasion was even used for cleaning out dirty ears. From the chicken coop, the apron was used for carrying eggs, fuzzy chicks, and sometimes half-hatched eggs to be finished in the warming oven. When company came, those aprons were ideal hiding places for shy kids, and when the weather was cold, Grandma wrapped it around her arms. Those big old aprons wiped her perspiring brow as she bent over the hot wood stove. Chips and kindling wood were brought into the kitchen in that apron. From the garden, it carried all sorts of vegetables. After the peas had been shelled, it carried out the hulls. In the fall, the apron was used to bring in apples that had fallen from the trees. When unexpected company drove up the road, it was surprising how much furniture that old apron could dust in a matter of seconds. When dinner was ready, Grandma walked out onto the porch, waved her apron, and the men knew it was time to come in from the fields to dinner. It will be a long time before someone invents something that will replace that old-time apron that serves so many purposes. Thank you.
I think that Anna's got an interesting apron. It says Happy Thanksgiving.
Came from the Allegheny Mountain area. We stopped at a old sawmill that was not in operation, but they also had big shops. Ed was looking at all the buildings and everything. I was shopping.
Okay, there's an apron. Many people say they can almost smell good food cooking when they see an apron that reminds them of their mom or grandmother. Some dads like to wear aprons when they barbecue outdoors in the summer. Throughout history, aprons have also been a sign of certain occupations. So now you can check your sheet and see how many you remembered of the ones I'm going to read off. Fishermen wore oilskin aprons. Blacksmiths and carpenters had leather ones. Butlers and maids wore white, clean aprons. Lumberyard workers often had a short canvas apron, and it was also advertising on the front pockets, and also one pocket for the nails. Many people have an apron as part of their historic national costume. They wear these aprons today for special occasions, but the apron probably had a useful, very useful purpose years ago. Do you ever wear an apron? Today you did. Perhaps you wear it when you eat, help in the kitchen, paint, or do crafts. At your dentist's office, a protective apron is put over you when you have your teeth examined. Have you ever worn one of the garments that have replaced aprons in modern times, such as smock, a jumpsuit, or coveralls? And many people still are wearing aprons, or they are maybe making aprons.